It was an interesting quarter because on the surface, guys, the Amex came out here and they missed earnings estimates. Now, I asked Steve right out of the gate here, why did you miss these earnings estimates? And he pointed to the devaluation of the Argentine peso that occurred in December. Now, this is something we heard this week from the likes of Puma and other companies. That is starting to impact results for a lot of multinational companies. And if you're an investor out there and you're invested in companies that are globally oriented, it's something you want to keep in mind. And nonetheless, I think the street is really focused in on this company's outlook for this year, well ahead of consensus by more than 20 cents in terms of earnings guidance range. Steve, he told me that the business is doing well. I think he would call it resilient, and he's expecting these trends to largely continue. One thing I would watch too, guys, they're expecting 40 product refreshes this year. That is more updates to what they're offering to consumers this year versus last year. So something to watch, perhaps setting the table for a higher price or raising the prices again for the Amex card. Now, Steve didn't tell me that, but just me reading some tea leaves.
I mean, what can we extrapolate about the consumer from these earnings, and what did he have to say about that?
Yeah, Steve said he acknowledged that the economy was slowing. So that was Steve's exact quote here, that the economy was slowing, but he expects the company can do good really in any environment. And I think that shows in terms of how much optimism he has laid out in terms of guidance. Now, compare what we just heard from Amex today from what we heard from Visa yesterday. Visa called out something very important. The sales each quarter, the consumer spending was soft or mixed each month of the quarter, and weak in January in large part because of weather. I think that is more a reflection of Visa being more value-oriented in terms of customer focus, and Amex being more tied to high-end shoppers who are still enjoying probably a lot of gains on their Nvidia shares.
A lot of LVMH too.
LVMH, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually another astonishing report here when we talk about the resilient consumer, the fact that people are still out there spending. We've been talking about time and time again that we are waiting or anticipating for this deterioration in the consumer, and it's just not happening.
Well, so it's showing up a little bit. In Amex results, I don't want to be all Pollyannish here. I mean, their credit card write-offs or the credit loss provisions, $1.44 billion, that was up 40% year over year. So there are consumers out there saying, I just bought too much stuff, man, and I have to write this off, and I just can't pay this bill at the end of the month. So there is some stress, but by and large, to your point, Shawna, rates are much higher year over year, and yet consumers are still out there buying probably a lot of junk they don't need.
Yeah, well, certainly, maybe the better way that I should have put it is much better than expected, it seems like time and time again. Yes, we are seeing some deterioration, but still.
How do you like your new Mercedes you put on the Amex card?
I wish. One day. All right, Sozzi, thanks.